everybody, it's Dr. Carmen Bryant, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Those of you that are tuning in for the first time, those of you that are new subscribers, thank you guys so much for finding something valuable or something that will help you in your situation, whether you're still in it, you're trying to leave, you're getting more information, or you're recovering from narcissist abuse. Thank you guys, thank you guys, thank you guys. So today I wanted to come on and I wanted to discuss, there are many questions that I'm getting concerning narcissist abuse and the courtrooms. Some of you guys a lot of you guys have been sending me questions concerning legal proceedings, courtrooms, and most of it is geared toward divorce and child custody cases or child support cases. So that is the majority of what I've been hearing lately. Now, keep in mind, I want to put out a disclosure that I am not a legal professional. I cannot provide legal advice to anyone. I am a mental health counselor. I am a licensed mental health counselor. I can provide you with information and education dealing with mental health and, the results of narcissist abuse, the behavior aspects of it, but I cannot provide legal advice. I can tell you information or give you information on your behavior in the courtroom or the behavior of the narcissist in a courtroom setting. I've had some emails to come through, and to protect the identity of those that have emailed me, I am in the Washington State area, so I do have people within King County, Pierce County, Thurston County that have asked me questions, and do understand that a lot of people are dealing with those that are narcissists that are in the law enforcement, the legal system, judges and lawyers, and so you're asking me very complex questions, but these individuals understand the law, and so a narcissist, we use the law against you. I did go research prior to coming on here for those of you that are interested, because I said there has to be some information out here. Someone has to be teaching something in reference to law, and I found a site. I'm going to put it down underneath the video when I post it. Go to www.highconflictinstitute.com. So it's highconflictinstitute.com. This is training, consultation, books, news, events, about. Okay, so this is what is high conflict, and so it talks about it has training, webinars, consultations, and online courses. And in here, they provide training for medical professionals, legal professionals, and even some of you that are about to enter into a high conflict, divorce, child custody hearings, child support hearings. And it talks about what to expect. And I don't know if it's how to conduct yourself, because I haven't enrolled in any of the courses, but I will be enrolling in some of the courses that they offer. But as I went to look at some of the courses, it had in there narcissistic, personality disorders, narcissists in the court, and they also have psychopaths and sociopaths in the court. And so go check out that website, you guys. They are available. They are in California. For those of you that are in California, and let's look. They are, where's the address? So those of you that are in the California area, just go to the website. I think it has I think they have the address on here. I'm not sure, but go to highconflictinstitute.com, and go to the training part. They do have webinars on here. They have training, they have consultation, and they have online courses. But it talks about, they do training for medical personnel, like I said, legal. So they do a lot of training with high conflict. They have consultation and coaching, but they do a lot of work with those that deal with high conflict cases. And then on here it has the narcissist and psychopath, sociopaths, well, the anti-personality disorder. But it gives it doesn't give legal advice, but it gives you, because it is a lawyer that's teaching, have other legal professionals on here that are teaching these webinars and courses. So highconflictinstitute.com, you guys go check that out. The other thing I wanted to say is that if you are in the Washington area, there is a agency here called, some of you have heard of it that are in this area. It's the Crystal Judson Family Justice Center. This center was developed because I think her name is Crystal Judson. obviously. Crystal Judson was the wife of the, I believe it was Tacoma police chief, and she was going through domestic violence at home. And so he was abusing his wife, which resulted in him, I think she was murdered in public, but he shot and killed her. He murdered her and then killed himself. And so this agency was set up to assist those that are in domestic violence. They connect you to here in the Washington area to the Northwest Justice Project. And those of you that are needing information concerning those that are in law enforcement, those that are in the legal, when you're dealing with high conflict. I just spoke to someone and she was giving me information on what information the lawyer gave to her, and he was very aware of the behavior, the domestic violence, some of the things that they do. Remember that when you're dealing with a narcissist, you're dealing with an individual that is committing domestic violence. That's what they're doing. It just so happened that this individual is a narcissist. And so he gave advice and gave paperwork on how to word everything, what to say. And so this is the Northwest Project here in the state of Washington that will connect you with pro bono, low cost, low income, but they will also help you if you are doing your own court cases. The legal team and the lawyers assist you, and they give you advice on what to do to pursue your own court cases. So the other thing is that those of you that are going into courts and situations, you have to remember that a narcissist is all about fuel and attention and hurting you whatever way they possibly can hurt you. And so the courtroom becomes one of the greatest platforms of the most highly prized Grammy nominee winning performances of narcissists. The thing about it is that a lot of them know how to cause you to react and not respond. And so a lot of them will wait as you get closer to the court dates, and they'll do things to cause you to be elevated. They may bring their new supply to the court. They may introduce a new supply to your children. Anything they can possibly do to get your emotions high. You never make major decisions, or you never do anything when you are very angry and hurt, because then you make dumb decisions, because then your decisions are based off of your emotions. And so that's what they bank on, is that when you come into the courtroom, that you will react and not respond. The other thing, as I read on many sites, the advice is to sit in between the lawyer and that narcissist so that you don't have to make eye contact with that individual, because a lot of them do use they use intimidation techniques and fear. Some of you guys are still in love with the narcissist, and so some of you try to get a glimpse. They know that you're still emotionally connected with them like that. They'll make sure that they smell real good when they come in. They make sure that they look real good. They have a new haircut, a new hairstyle. They have weave all the way down to their feet, if that's what you like, or they're going to be bald-headed where you can see the muscles in their head. So whatever it is that you like, that's what they're going to do in order to get your attention, to get you off focus. You have to remember too that I was reading somewhere, and it was talking about the court systems. In any other court systems, you're dealing with criminal law, you're dealing with different laws, even in business law and everything. To commit perjury is a crime. To commit perjury, you could be punished for that. The only problem is, and I think it was a legal professional was talking about it, that in family law, when you're in family court, they don't take perjury as serious as they do in all the other courts, especially when you're dealing with children. And then, when a person here in the state of Washington, I was reading somewhere that if you say that the person is abusing the child, if you do it too many times, I don't know if it's 3 times, they will take the child from you. I think that's what they do, take the child from you. So you have to be careful, because a lot of times you can't even prove it. How do you prove psychological abuse unless you have, judges that understand and they see it on a constant basis, a lawyer that's well versed in, you ask when you're looking for a lawyer, if you're looking for legal professional help, ask them, do you understand, do it this way. Instead of saying narcissist abuse, do you understand psychopath, sociopath, narcissist, or personality disorder, and the abuse and the residue, or what they do and how they conduct themselves, their behaviors in court. Remember, when you're dealing with a lawyer and a judge, it's about facts. It's about professionalism. You can't come in all emotional, though on the inside you are tore up and your heart is broken and you just need some help and you're crying and boo-hooing. You still have to gather yourself up together, and you have to present your information professionally. It's sad that as, victims and people that have escaped from this type of trauma has to be re-traumatized and re-victimized in the court setting, even when you're dealing with your own lawyer, where you can't be honest with your emotions and feelings. But you ask them, do you know, and don't say narcissist first, because they hear that a lot anyway, but just say, do you understand personality disorder? Do you understand psychopath or sociopath or narcissism? Do you understand the conduct? Do you understand the abuse? Do you understand what happens in the courtroom when you're dealing with these type of people? And see what they say, but you have to maintain your composure. You have to, you don't want to go all crazy. Like I said, this could be the perfect time where the narcissist decides to reveal that he's got someone and you didn't know that they had someone, or all that time you've been accusing him or her of being with someone else. This is the perfect timing for that. Everything's timed. It's perfect timing for them to disclose the fact that they are with someone else, or your child is around someone else, because they need to get your emotions high so that you are irrational when you go into the court system, go into the courtroom. Remember, they're going to lie, and remember, you also have narcissists that are from all walks of life and different socioeconomic statuses. You have those that are impoverished, on the severe end of the poverty line, and then you have those that are filthy rich, all in with all sorts of money. You have to remember that money talks. And so when you have somebody that has that much money, it's sad to say, within the judicial system, it's sad to say that people can be bought anywhere. You can be bought, a therapist can be bought, I don't believe in that, but, and that's ethics. But anybody can be bought for the right price, and hopefully we as professionals, have enough ethics and moral standards, in helping people, that, it's not about the money, but it's about helping. Of course, we need to pay bills. That's one thing. But, it's not about the money and you paying, a lawyer, a legal professional, or a therapist to write lies. If you get to that point where that money starts looking good, you might want to withdraw yourself, because you may injure or you may hurt the person. You see the money, the money signs, and you may be putting those children in that family in danger, and that's male and female alike, putting them in danger. You want some money, and then you're putting these people in danger, where I've read cases where the father won custody, or the father won custody and then ended up killing all of his children. The woman won custody of the child and she murdered all the children and then went and committed suicide, all because she wanted to make sure that she hurt the father. This is horrible. And that's why I encourage you guys, those of you that are going into the legal system, you're studying law, those of you that are going into the medical field, those of you that are that your dreams are to be within a court system, those of you that are wanting to be advocates, social workers, those of you that are wanting to be therapists or social workers, get yourself educated. Go to this website that I told you about. Get yourself educated about this, because this flies under the radar. And then when you get into the courtroom, you have to remember that that narcissist, female or male, will use any strategy, anything. Number one, they always have to win. You know that from being in a relationship with them. They cannot lose. And for, common sense for us, if you have children, the right thing to do is to pay child support. Now, I know some women and some men, I really haven't heard a lot of men, but some women, and there are men, but some women that I've heard of, they take the money and they don't do anything for the children. It's all, they take the money as their personal money to spend. The kids are lacking. The kids don't have. Well, a narcissist looks at it not as child support to assist, the kids, to make sure they can maintain a proper lifestyle, but they look at it as you taking something from them. They lost and you won. And so their whole fight in the courtroom is that you can't touch my money. Even with divorce cases where a person has been married 1,000 years, and here in the state of Washington, it is community property. So you split stuff in half. You've been together for so long, you split the house in half, you split retirement in half. But they'll go all out to make sure you get nothing. They don't want you to get anything. Not the fact that you've been with that person and probably help them grow their business, help them grow, help them get to school, do whatever. But it's a matter, some people are just facetious, and petty. But if you've been with a person, it's only right, first of all, to pay child support to help support the kids. You didn't make the kids by yourself, or, hey, we invested in this home, so at least give me half of it so I can start my life all over again, and I can get an apartment, I can get somewhere to stay, but they don't think like that. Their whole thing is that you're going to win. You're taking something from me, and at all means necessary, I have to win, and I'm going to smear your name and I'm going to make you look bad. They'll hide assets. We already know they'll hide assets. assets. They will pay lawyers to lie. So they'll put them on their payroll and put them in their back pocket so they can give them hush money. You be quiet and you just do what I tell you to do. It's about using people and getting fuel from it. They're dramatic. They'll do things, one of the biggest thing they do is divert. For example, you have those that may have been hiding assets, and the wife or the husband knows, or they may be behind in child support. What they'll do is the fact is okay, you are so many months behind, or this is the assets, and what they'll do is divert, and they'll focus on, hey, the kids are not eating. Hey, the kids look like they're from a third world country and are starving to death, and that's not true. But then your mind starts focusing on protecting yourself again. And so you get distracted by trying, just like you've done while you were in the relationship, you get so distracted that, instead of you focusing on the entire war, you start focusing on little skirmishes, little battles. You have to focus on the end result. You have to keep your mind focused. Keep your mind focused. Talk to your lawyer and communicate with your lawyer or your legal advocate. Get legal advocates to assist you. You get domestic violence advocate. A friend of mine who is in the King County area, she is a domestic violence advocate. She actually goes to court with victims of domestic violence, and she teaches them this very thing. Don't react. Look at me. Don't look over there. Don't worry about that. Don't try to defend yourself, because let the lawyers talk. Don't try to defend yourself. Don't get bent out of shape, because if they don't get a response from you, sometimes they're the ones that'll mess it up. Sometimes they lie so much, but if you react all the time, the focus is on you. And so a lot of those lies fly under the radar. But if you keep your cool and you tell the lawyer, that's not true, that's not true, sometimes you can't even prove it. You can't even prove what you're talking about, and so hopefully this has helped a little bit. I know it's not a whole lot of information, but I did find the highconflictinstitute.com, and the thing that I'm telling you guys, I know some of you guys are really worried. Just go look at this website, look at some of the webinars that they offer, and the thing that I can tell you is that you have to be prepared. They're going to lie, they'll hide their assets. When they're doing wrong, they're going to divert attention to you. They're going to want to get your attention while you're in the courtroom. That you have to be prepared. Maybe a day or two prior to you going to court, they're going to do something dramatic to cause your anxiety level to be off the chain, off the roof. And then you come in and you're so high. You're angry, and all you want is revenge. I want revenge. I want. You go to court and you're talking about bring back the death penalty, and they have to remind you that you are in family court. You're not in criminal court, and why would we put death penalty? Some of you guys are fueled up and so angry, and that's what they want, because they know that if they can get you angered, they can get you off track. If they can get you angered, or if they can present something to you, a new supply or anything, you find out some stuff, anything would get you off track, would get you diverted, and your focus is diverted, and you can't focus. You have to stay focused on the goal. What is the goal? Stay focused on the goal. Don't let them throw you off. Some of them are so doggone smart that they that they'll argue the law to the lawyer, or they'll explain the law and say this is what the law says and this is what the codes are saying. And so if you let them, some of the lower to mid-range narcissists will argue with the judge, they'll argue with the lawyer, they'll act as if they're the lawyer. I just need you to be in here because you got law degree, but they'll act like that they're the lawyer. I've seen some stuff. I've seen some stuff, and it's really ridiculous. Make you think like, wow, you are the smartest idiot I have ever seen in my whole life. And I know this sounds bad, but I'm trying to empower you guys. Also, do know that, like I said, everybody is not educated in this. That's why I'm very adamant of trying to connect with people that are in the legal system. I went and looked. There's a site that I wanted to look into, and it is National Clearinghouse for Defense of Battered Women. I know it's almost like rare that you can find anything for battered men, because men are battered as well, but to connect, some of you guys need to advocate some of the experiences that you guys had, but in here there are laws that they're trying to pass, even dealing with emotional abuse, and so we need to bombard the court systems, Department of Social and Health Services. I don't know what it's called in some of your states, Department of Child Family Services, Department of Health Services, whatever wherever it is, we need to bombard them, and we need to try to get this going, to get the legal system educated, get the lawyers educated, get the police departments educated. I think in the state of Washington, some of this training is mandatory training with high conflict in family court, high conflict divorces and family courts. But to get it into, getting it as continuing education or training for the police officers and what to expect, some of them are well aware. Some of them are seasoned police officers and they know, even social worker, clinical social workers, sometimes they fall for the charm of, that narcissist. We need to get them trained, make this mandatory training, continuing education hours. We have to have, here in the state of Washington, licensed mental health professionals have to have 36 hours of continuing education every 2 years, but we need to make that a part of, the training for counselors. We need to get this moving. We need to, there's some of you guys that have the connections, to get this going, to get this moving. But we have to, because there's too many people dying. There are too many people getting, losing their children. You have women in jail for protecting themselves, in prison for protecting themselves. You have men that are going into court and losing the right to see their children. And it's the mother that's the narcissist, not the father that's the narcissist, and the father feels hopeless because he can't protect the children. Just like in the case of this woman that was awarded the children, she ended up killing all the kids and then jumping off the bridge to make sure that the father was hurting. How tragic that is when you're dealing with an individual that has a personality disorder, sociopath, psychopath, the antisocial personality disorder, cluster B, personality disorder, narcissism on top of that. And I was having a conversation with someone. I was looking at court proceedings where they were doing Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. They were doing like Ted Bundy. And it's funny because I was listening. It wasn't funny, but it wasn't funny, haha, funny. But it's amazing because here on television they're calling him a monster. He's a monster, and I can't believe they did this, and they're a monster, and these are predators to get off of the streets, and we lock them up forever, and everything was monster and this and that and this. Well, a narcissist is on the same level as they're on. They're on the same level as these psychopaths and sociopaths. The only difference is that not all narcissists kill, but at the same time, they're killing your spirit, they're killing your soul. They are not ruining, but they're damaging, children's psyche, women's psyche, their psychological function. They're emotionally damaged, and so there is more money being spent in the, medical field to get counseling. And then on top of that, not every counselor understands the residual of this kind of abuse. A lot of people don't understand, and you can tell by some of the comments. In the military, I'm gonna just tell you this and I'm gone. In the military, we used to call that one soldier that was just brilliant. We used to call him a rock. And so we used to say, soldier, they'll make a comment or say something. You're looking at them, and our favorite thing used to be like, there's always one. There's always one. There's one. I don't blame you, but I blame the education system in your state and your parents. But even here on YouTube, you got to know there's always one. One or more. There's always one that's going to make this brilliant comment that doesn't make any sense. And sometimes I just want do you think before you type? And you have to think. One of the comments when we were talking about the thought fuel comments was that you can't find that in the DSM. You can't find domestic violence in the DSM either. You can't find the residue of people that have been molested in childhood or abandoned and rejected in childhood. There are certain diagnoses in there that may refer to, where it stems from, but what about the residual of these individuals that have these particular diagnoses or personality disorder or cluster B? It doesn't talk about how they conduct themselves in relationship and the residual of having this individual in your home. Of course, the DSM doesn't say that, so maybe we need to come up with our own manual. But there's always one. There's always one. I don't blame them. I blame the education system in their state, like the military. Okay, you guys, so hopefully this has helped a little bit. And for those of you that asked me some questions, I didn't want to send a private message because I think that was a good topic to talk about and to give other people, because there are some other people that have that same question. And so if, the individual that I'm speaking to on here, if you need more information, just email me, and then I will personally email you back in reference to that. So remember, it is the site that I was talking about is highconflictinstitute.com. Go check it out. It does have training, consultation, coaching, has webinars, it has online courses that deal exactly with that, and it talks about, the conduct in the court system for many of you guys that are on your way to court with these individuals. Stay cool. Stay focused on your lawyer. Let the lawyer, don't react. Be prepared that, they're going to act it out. They're the victims, always the victims. They're going to lie. They may commit perjury. They're going to lie on you. They're going to lie on your character. Bring people in that are character witnesses. Bring a support team in there with you so you're not doing this alone. If you don't have a support team, reach out to a domestic violence advocate or a legal advocate and ask them, if you have a domestic violence program around in your community, ask them to come and support you because you have been through domestic violence. They're not going to understand narcissist abuse, but domestic violence, and you need a support because you're afraid or you're concerned. Male and female alike, doesn't matter. So hopefully this has helped you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with me. Thank you so much for all the new subscribers for hanging in there and trusting me. And the young lady that said that she had, she was turned off by doctors, and especially those that claim Christianity or faith. She gave me a chance, and I'm so truly honored that you would give me a chance to talk to you, or to even trust any of my videos. I'm truly, truly honored. I'm not a religious person. I'm a very spiritual individual. I am a Christian. I am a woman of faith, and so I do pray. I do have a mentor, and my mentor is the presiding prelate of our church, Into His Chambers Global Ministries, and she also has a YouTube channel, which is Helen Sadler, Destiny Helper, and she provides you with information on narcissist abuse and the narcissist based on a biblical and spiritual perspective. She provides you with biblical answers to what you are dealing with. I go to the clinical side of the house. I focus on the emotional and behavior because I am in clinic. I am a therapist, and she, because she is a senior pastor with churches and ministries under her, she focuses because she's got plethora of experience, and she provides that information from a biblical and a spiritual perspective. And she usually comes on live between 1 and 3 in the morning. She's been coming on a little earlier. And so whenever you catch her on live, you can ask her whatever question you want to ask her, even when you are, you're dealing with faith. Those of you that are not believers, just take out the principles of what she's saying. Some of you guys are saying what most everybody is saying, the spiritual problem to it, but I do bring it to you from a clinical perspective, as from experiential, from clinical, and from what I've seen and experienced myself. I too am a survivor. For those of you that have asked, I too am a survivor, 22 plus years, and then on top of that, life experience, almost 50 years of life experiences having to deal with it in my personal life and within the profession, military profession, and then, to add on to that, my own personal experience being married to one. And so hopefully this has helped you guys, and hopefully, you guys are getting some information. Once again, thank you so much. If you have not already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. I do have a new Facebook page. It's Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. If you have not already, I do have links where you can purchase my book. It's called Unmasking, The Illusion of Perfection. Those of you that have ordered the book, thank you so much for your support. If any of you guys want me to write anything in your book, hey, send it to me. Just send some return postage and I will send it back to you. I don't have a problem with that. So once again, thank you guys so much. Make sure you hit the bell on the YouTube channel so you know whenever I upload videos. I come on live on Sundays between 8 and 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and I open it up for question and answers. You can ask me whatever you want to. Just don't ask me my weight. And then I do post videos Tuesday through Friday, pre-recorded videos. And on Facebook, make sure you hit the like button. I still have my professional page, Psychological Health, Consultants and Services. But come over to the Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. It has my book on the front of it. You'll see my picture and you'll see my book on the front of it. So once again, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. You guys go and be great.